If you ever wondered what being bought and owned by big money looks like, if you ever wondered what one of the many evil faces of tyranny looks like, you're looking at him. That's the lead revenue generator for the great state of Texas, Tarrant County Sheriff Bill Waybourn. Coincidentally, this heart attack waiting to happen is also what protecting a loophole to violate American rights looks like. Matter of fact, the guy on the left with the clown suit and Dunlap's disease, because his belly Dunlapped over his belt and his chin Dunlapped over his collar, has less brains and is more full of shit than an overcrowded hen house on a Tyson chicken farm. Even though Texas Governor Greg Abbott vetoed SB 3, which would have banned all THC products and criminalized all Texas THC users, this clogged artery cowboy who's one McDonald's French fry away from a heart attack was ready to crush all Texans under his polished boot of tyranny. I want you to listen to the undiluted nonsense that rolls out of this guy's mouth.
Some of the largest supporters for SB 3 were law enforcement groups, and one of the most vocal law enforcement leaders in the state of Texas is Tarrant County Sheriff Bill Waybourn. When you are seeing a press conference about an issue about law enforcement in the state capitol, there's a good chance Sheriff Waybourn's going to be there. He was first elected in 2016. He's now in his third term, and he really is passionate about this THC issue. Senate Bill 3 passed.
Right.
From a law enforcement perspective, what's the problem that SB 3 is trying to solve?
Well, several years ago, we widened the loopholes for THC to come into Texas, which was a mistake. Mm-hmm. And I think we've got to close those. And I'll give you the most biggest answer I can give you is right when I came into office in 2017, is that I got a briefing by MH mental health authorities, and they said 25% of the jail population needed mental health services. Mm-hmm. Today, that number, post-THC coming into our world, is nearly 70%.
Maybe, Sheriff. 25% of the prison population is in need of mental health services because they're sitting there rotting in a cage when they have committed no crime. Maybe they just wanted to be left alone to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, but you and your thin blue line henchmen wouldn't leave them alone.
And I believe THC is at the tip of the spear, and I've talked to several mental health people, and they absolutely agree that high levels of THC is causing, or part of the cause of our mental health crisis. And of course, the rest of the cocktail of drugs involved in that go along with it. So that's what we're trying to do, is close those loopholes.
When you say mental health issues, what do you mean? Are it just people using it for recreational, getting high, to have fun, or what?
Absolutely, and it wasn't their daddy's marijuana. All of a sudden this marijuana is high, the high THC levels in it, the high THC levels in the vaping. And what we have seen is that
if you're not free to do bad things to your body in America, you are not free. I don't see anybody making cigarettes illegal. And how many people die from legal tobacco? I don't see anybody wanting to ban alcohol. I don't see any sheriff or police officer or chief of police wanting to shut down CVS or Walmart or Walgreens, which are your local drug dealers. Remember, Big Pharma is solely responsible for creating the American opioid epidemic, but you didn't see any sheriffs rising up about that. So it must be, they're not against drugs. Really, if they were, they would be coming out against those pharmacies. Making weed illegal sounds kind of like a protectionist racket.
They become paranoid, they become schizophrenic, they become high anxiety levels, and like I said, the super paranoia and the psychosis where they're just not there. And unfortunately, I've talked to parents who have kids that have vaped some of this stuff, and their 17-year-old is no longer 17, they're 10, and they're not coming back.
And
wait a minute. Because a 17-year-old smoked MJ, he's no longer 17, he's 10, and he's at the point of no return, according to the sheriff. I had not heard that. But even if that was true, if you're not free to do this to yourself, if you're not free, like I said, to smoke cigarettes or to drink alcohol or to take drugs or to take risks or to drive down the road without a seatbelt on, endangering yourself, then you're not free in America. And this sheriff right here aims to see that you're not free and that he's in total control. And he wants to make sure that his Texas cowboy boot of tyranny stays firmly in your door so that he can fling it open anytime he wants to and take your freedoms from you.
Their 17-year-old is no longer 17, they're 10, and they're not coming back.
And I understand that it's hard to test what is legal and what is not for somebody who doesn't know. How's that work?
Absolutely, and we have arrested people that probably had what was considered legal, come to find out that it was the hemp that was supposed to be under 3%. So it's hard to distinguish what's legal and what's not legal.
Because officers and deputies don't have the testing materials to do it right there on site.
Right.
There's a group of folks who will say, hey, this also helps their mental health, that whether it's veterans trying to recover from PTSD. What do you think of that argument? Because some people say this does help them.
Well, we're going to arrest them too. If we catch it on them, we're going to arrest them because that's what we do. We're order followers. We're just doing our jobs. Now, it may help people, but we're here to really help them, if you know what I mean.
I think that probably there are good things coming from some of this level of marijuana or something. And I'm compassionate about it with people who say, hey, I no longer have seizures.
I'm so compassionate. I'm going to cuff you. I'm going to kidnap you. I'm going to book you. I'm going to give you a criminal record. I'm going to cage you, and then I'm going to fine you. I'm so compassionate.
Fantastic. So I think the medicine that it helps, we should always look at. We always should be pro. We want the compassionate stuff to happen. We want the people to be treated. It's when we get into this level of THC goes from 3% to 20% that we should be concerned with.
Would you be...
Who cares? If Americans aren't free to take that risk, they are not free. And this sheriff does not want people free. And keep in mind, this is a sheriff who signed on to Sheriff Jim Skinner's H.R. 1525, which basically begged Dan Red Flag Law, Eye Patch McCain Crenshaw to please keep civil asset forfeiture, which is legalized armed robbery, on the books. He and 3,086 sheriffs, and keep in mind there's only 3,144 counties, and not all counties have sheriffs, so this is virtually all the sheriffs, including all the deputies, signed on to Jim Skinner's H.R. 1525, which says they want to continue enacting legalized armed robbery on all Americans.
Supportive of a doctor says Phil needs this and he goes get it through the compassionate use program.
Right.
And is that different from Phil saying by himself, I want it, I just want to go buy it at a vape shop?
It's 100% different. Okay. And we got to rely on the integrity of our medical families to do that. That community needs to make sure that their integrity is in place and be watchful of their own people.
The bottom line is that a ban like this gives cops like this what cops of the 1920s had. The justification to criminalize innocent people, to fine them, to kidnap them, to cage them. And these people just want to be left alone. They want to experience the freedoms of America. And people like this don't want that to happen.
How is SB 3 going to be enforced, do you think?
Well, that's a good question, so we will, when it becomes law in a few short months, I see a lot of voluntary stuff. I see people who are selling that stuff now.
Now, this interview was conducted before Governor Greg Abbott vetoed SB 3, so it's not going to be enacted. It's probably going to be kicked back to the House and the Senate to be reworked so there can be regulations. But I bet this guy right here is a little pissed off. He wanted that money cow. This is a cash cow for these people. When they can criminalize you, when they can put their boots of tyranny in your door of freedom, it's a good day for them because they can generate more revenue now. They can come up with more excuses so they can violate your rights because they don't care. They don't give a damn about the Constitution. They wipe their asses with the Constitution. That's how little they care about the Constitution, and that's how much contempt they have not only for Texans, but for all Americans. I smell marijuana. I see shake on your floor of the board. Why don't you get out here? Why don't you get out for me? They can impound your vehicle. They can take whatever money that you have. They can freeze bank accounts. They can fill the courts and the prison industrial complex. This is a cash cow for these people. Anytime that you have a ban, you remove power from the people and put it squarely in the hands of psychopaths like this.
honest people, and they're going to just quit selling it. Is what I hope for and what I think. Now, if they don't, there will be probably things put in place where law enforcement can take action.
So it would be a felony.
We're going to get them.
Have it on your body?
Depending on what level it is, it could be as low as a Class B, I think, or as high as a felony, depending.
What do you think happens to the businesses that have popped up, the vape shops?
I think that we will see some of them go away. And, as I understand it,
I think we'll see some of those mom and pop shops go out of business. So easy for a person who's getting his paycheck from the people. He's never going to go out of business. He's got qualified immunity. As a matter of fact, if he's caught doing any one of his crimes and he gets prosecuted for it, he can just quit before the legal system nabs him and he'll get full retirement.
I haven't looked at the map personally, but I'm told that there's 1,800 shops that popped up in Texas over the last few years. And by no coincidence, a lot of them across the street from junior highs. So I think we'll see some of those closing down. Are going out of business or packing up and going someplace else, or they will try to find legal niches to do this.
When you look back on where this debate has gone over the last year and a half, what do you think? What's the big picture on this? What's the story here?
I think that the legislature's got firsthand view of the damage that was done by it through various testimonies and physical evidence, and I think that they saw, hey, we got to do course correction on this, and that's what they did. And I think it's going to help. I hope it does anyway. And I think the big picture is why Texas wants everybody to bask in liberty and freedoms. There's some things that we need to control, and that having a vape shop across the street full of THC from a junior high is not what we need.
If you're controlling it and criminalizing innocent people, that ain't freedom, Sheriff. If we've learned anything from Prohibition, it always gives rise to organized crime. Innocent people become criminals, and there are public health risks because the product that once was safe under the free market now becomes unsafe because of organized crime. And if there was ever a face of an organized crime leader, you're looking at it. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you like these videos, maybe you'll like some of my others. Check out my most popular playlist. I'm sure there's some videos on there that you haven't seen yet. Unfortunately, they're all still very much in play because tyranny is alive and well among us. If you want to support the channel further, check out my Patreon, Cash App, or Buy Me a Coffee links in the description below. Like this video, share this video, grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, understand you have rights, you have freedoms. Exercise those rights and freedoms, because if you don't exercise them, yahoos like this are more than willing to take them away. I will see you in the next video.